A silent, pervasive force, almost palpable in its resistance, can erect an insurmountable wall between you and the life you earnestly crave. Yet this force isn't a malevolent entity dwelling in the external world. It isn't a cosmic conspiracy designed to thwart your ambitions. No, it is far more intimate, far more insidious. It resides within. The tenacious, relentless grip of control. The very act of meticulously orchestrating every minute detail, of attempting to master every conceivable outcome, of micromanaging the very trajectory of your own evolution, births a dissonant, blocking vibration that permeates your being. A subtle hum of anxiety that vibrates outwards, affecting the quantum field itself. Paradoxically, the universe, that boundless expanse of potentiality, doesn't yield to this forceful command. It doesn't flow in accordance with your meticulously crafted plans, but rather, it pauses, it hesitates, caught in the cross-current of your striving. He, a man consumed by the pursuit of optimized living, had meticulously calibrated every facet of his existence. He approached life with the precision of a seasoned watchmaker, each cog meticulously placed, each spring carefully wound. Morning rituals of gratitude, affirmations whispered with fervent intention, visualizations painted with vivid detail. These were not mere habits, but cornerstones of his meticulously constructed reality. His days were carved into minute-by-minute schedules, each action predetermined, each outcome theoretically accounted for. Yet with each passing day, each precisely executed move, a sense of leaden weight settled upon him, a strange inertia that defied his best efforts. The elusive breakthrough, the transformative moment he so desperately sought, seemed perpetually poised just beyond his grasp, a tantalizing mirage that shimmered on the horizon but forever remained out of reach. He felt like a runner on a treadmill, expending tremendous energy, yet remaining resolutely in place. The truth, as it often does, eventually emerged, not in a blaze of revelation, but in a quiet whisper of undeniable certainty. When you attempt to haul the vast, untamed universe onto the narrow, restrictive stage of your own personal agenda, it invariably resists. It rebels against the confines of your control, pushing back with an equal and opposite force. Herein lies the fundamental paradox of control. The more fervently you attempt to steer the course of your life, to dictate its every twist and turn, the more life, in its infinite wisdom, seems to steer around you, deflecting your efforts like water off a duck's back. What initially feels like empowerment, like a triumphant assertion of your will, is, in truth, a form of deeply ingrained tension, merely disguised as unwavering determination. When you broadcast the unwavering mantra, "I must keep things in order, I must maintain control, I must ensure a specific outcome," the quantum field, that responsive mirror of consciousness, faithfully reflects back your deepest, often unconscious beliefs. The result? Not the dynamic, vibrant movement you yearn for, but a chilling, stagnant stillness. Not the effortless flow of life, but a grating, persistent friction. Not the miraculous unfolding of possibility, but the hollow echo of the same stubbornly entrenched patterns repeating ad nauseum. Why does this frustrating phenomenon occur? What hidden forces are at play behind the scenes, orchestrating this seemingly cruel cosmic joke? Two fundamental energetic laws, deeply intertwined, operate in the subtle realms of consciousness, shaping the reality you experience. First, the human nervous system, a highly sophisticated and exquisitely sensitive instrument, instinctively interprets control, that relentless need to manage every aspect of existence, as a dire survival threat. It whispers insidious warnings of impending danger. It subtly signals a perceived lack of safety, triggering a cascade of physiological responses that culminate in contraction, in a tightening of the muscles, a shallowing of the breath, a narrowing of focus. Meanwhile, the quantum field, that vast, intelligent matrix that underlies all of reality, doesn't decipher your carefully chosen words. It isn't swayed by your best-intentioned affirmations. Instead, it detects the raw, unfiltered frequency you are emitting, the energetic signature that pulses beneath the surface of your conscious thought. And if those underlying feelings are characterized by tension, by a sense of forcing, by a pervasive anxiety, the field, in its impartial responsiveness, reflects that vibration back to you, amplifying the very patterns you are desperately trying to escape. Second, and perhaps even more profoundly, control inherently undermines alignment, that state of harmonious resonance with your deepest desires and with the natural flow of life. You might genuinely, even passionately, desire expansion, healing, a transformative breakthrough in your life. But if the dominant vibration underpinning your actions is tethered to a desperate need to fix what you perceive as broken, to correct what you believe is wrong, you inadvertently sabotage your own efforts. You are, in essence, perpetuating the very reality you wish to transcend. The immutable principle of quantum mechanics, a principle that governs the very fabric of reality, resonates with profound significance here. What you resist persists. What you fight against only grows stronger. That resistance, that persistent urge to control, isn't a force residing outside of you, a challenge imposed by external circumstances. It is your own internal frequency, your own energetic signature, and it echoes back to you, mirroring the very patterns you so desperately hope to leave behind. This is the subtle dance of the quantum field, a dance where your inner world becomes the blueprint for your outer reality. No amount of spiritual hustle, no matter how well-intentioned or diligently applied, can effectively break this insidious loop of control and resistance. Because at its core, control isn't a manifestation of mastery, it isn't a testament to your strength or competence, it is, in its purest form, an expression of deep-seated fear. And when fear becomes the dominant frequency you are sending out into the world, when it saturates your energetic field, your reality inevitably and invariably aligns itself to match it, manifesting circumstances that reinforce your underlying anxieties and perpetuate the very patterns you seek to overcome. The way out of this self-created labyrinth isn't through the acquisition of more sophisticated techniques, more intricate strategies, more elaborate routines. It lies in a fundamental shift in posture, a profound transformation in your relationship with life. It requires moving away from the relentless forcing of change, the desperate attempt to mold reality to your will, and embracing the gentle art of inviting change, of allowing the universe to guide you, of surrendering to the wisdom of the present moment. It means relinquishing your obsessive grip on the steering wheel and trusting in the unfolding of the journey, allowing life to carry you on its currents. Instead of relentlessly telling life what must happen, instead of dictating its terms with an iron fist, you begin to whisper, to listen, to inquire with gentle curiosity. I trust in the inherent intelligence of life. I trust that what wants to emerge is already aligned with my highest good. I trust that the universe is conspiring in my favor. Surrender, in this profound context, isn't about passively giving up, about settling for less than you deserve, about resigning yourself to a life of mediocrity. It is, rather, about discovering the calm, unwavering center of knowing within yourself, the unshakable conviction that what is meant to unfold for you is already aligning, orchestrating itself in perfect timing and in perfect accordance with your authentic desires. When you are no longer fighting against the present moment, when you are no longer resisting the natural flow of life. That state of unburdened trust, of effortless alignment, is the true vibration of creation, the fertile ground from which miracles spontaneously arise. As we delve deeper into this exploration, we will unravel the profound truth that this notion of energetic surrender isn't a form of spiritual laziness. It isn't an excuse for inaction or a justification for complacency. It is, in fact, the most powerful activation of possibility, the key that unlocks the doors to unlimited potential. Release, the conscious relinquishing of control, opens channels of intuition, of inspiration, of divine guidance, that control, in its narrow-minded rigidity, only serves to obscure. Miracles don't materialize as a result of our forceful intervention, as a consequence of our relentless striving. They spontaneously emerge from the quantum field when our vibration, our energetic signature, aligns with the unseen patterns that are already forming, waiting to manifest in our reality. So, I invite you to pause, right here, right now, and deeply feel this truth. Allow it to resonate within your being, to permeate your consciousness. Control isn't courage. It isn't a display of strength. It is, rather, a manifestation of underlying resistance, a subtle form of self-sabotage. And only when you release the persistent urge to fix things, to manipulate circumstances, to control outcomes, will the flow, your natural state of being, spontaneously return, like a river finding its way back to the ocean after being diverted by a dam. There is a profound, transformative energy inherent in release, an energy that shifts everything, that realigns the very fabric of reality. It is not born of relentless effort, not cultivated through rigid discipline, not achieved through sheer force of will. It is, rather, a spontaneous arising, a natural consequence of surrendering to the present moment. Release isn't failure. It isn't an admission of defeat. It is a radical act of trust, a profound declaration of faith in the inherent goodness and intelligence of the universe. It is the art of stepping back, of creating space, not of stepping out, of abandoning your dreams. It is the profound realization that life isn't a complex puzzle that you must painstakingly piece together through relentless force, that you must manipulate and control in order to achieve a desired outcome. It is, rather, a river, a flowing current that you align with by yielding, by surrendering, by trusting in its inherent wisdom. Not because you are done trying, not because you have abandoned your aspirations, but because you are finally done obstructing, because you are no longer resisting the natural flow of life. As Dr. Joe Dispenza so eloquently reveals, intention, while undeniably vital, is incomplete without the balancing force of surrender. Intention gives form to your desire. It provides direction and focus. But surrender gives it life. It infuses it with the vital energy that allows it to manifest in the physical world. When intention sharpens your focus, directing your energy with laser-like precision, surrender softens your energy, creating a receptive field that allows the universe to respond. The quantum field, that vast and intelligent matrix of potentiality, patiently waits for both. Clarity of vision, a clear and unwavering intention, paired with spaciousness of presence, a state of open-hearted receptivity. Without that anchoring softness, without that underlying sense of trust and surrender, your desire collides with the invisible wall of tension, pressing against the very flow you seek to harness, creating friction and resistance that ultimately impede your progress. This harmonious marriage of intention and surrender isn't a passive state. It isn't a form of wishful thinking or a naive belief in magical solutions. It is, rather, a form of alchemy, a transformative process where your mind, focused and clear, aligns with what you deeply desire, and your heart, open and receptive, embodies the unwavering conviction that it is already yours, that it already exists in the quantum field, waiting to be drawn into your reality. The quantum landscape, that vast and ever-shifting realm of possibility, doesn't respond to your urgency. It isn't swayed by your frantic efforts to force a particular outcome. It responds with unwavering precision to your vibrational alignment, to the energetic signature that you are broadcasting into the universe. If your frequency carries an undercurrent of anxiety, a subtle hum of fear, even spiritual anxiety disguised as fervent devotion, it overrides the clarity of your vision. It distorts the signal you are sending, and it ultimately sabotages your manifestation efforts. The universe then mirrors back to you not the manifestation of your dream, not the fulfillment of your deepest desires, but your deeper, often unconscious vibration. I must make this happen. I must control the outcome. I must force the universe to comply with my will. The observer effect in quantum theory, a phenomenon that has profound implications for understanding the nature of reality, tells us that the very act of measuring influences the outcome, that the observer is not a passive bystander, but an active participant in the unfolding of reality. But here, it's not just the act of looking, of observing that matters. It's how we look, the energetic lens through which we perceive reality that ultimately shapes the outcome. Measuring with clenched fists, with a heart filled with anxiety, with a mind obsessed with control, collapses the infinite possibilities of the quantum field into a fixed, limited form that echoes your internal tension, perpetuating the very patterns you seek to transcend. Measuring with open arms, with a heart overflowing with gratitude, with a mind clear and focused on your intention, invites reality to shape itself around your resonance, to align itself with your authentic desires, not your rigid expectations. Picture it like this. You are holding a delicate butterfly, a symbol of transformation and beauty, in your hands. If you grasp it too tightly, if you try to control its movements, you crush its delicate wings, extinguishing its life force and destroying its inherent beauty. You may still hold it in your hand, but it is no longer vibrant, no longer capable of fulfilling its purpose. But if you open your hands gently, if you create a space of calm and receptivity, it may simply land on your palm of its own accord, drawn by your gentle energy, trusting in your benevolent intentions. That is the exquisite dance of release, the art of surrendering to the present moment, not through choked control, through desperate attempts to force an outcome, but through calm openness, through a quiet knowing that what you seek is already on its way, unfolding in perfect timing and arriving with natural grace. When you finally understand, deep in your bones, that tighter control doesn't bring flow, that it actually obstructs it, that true flow arises from a state of effortless surrender, you begin to reclaim the inherent rhythm of creation, the natural harmony that exists between you and the universe. You stop pushing against the tide, expending precious energy in a futile attempt to force it to move in a direction it doesn't want to go. Instead, you start moving with it, aligning yourself with its natural currents, allowing it to carry you effortlessly towards your destination. You realize that miracles don't arrive because you made them happen, because you manipulated circumstances or forced a particular outcome. They spontaneously emerge when your vibration, your energetic signature, aligns with the unseen patterns that are already forming in the quantum field, waiting for the opportune moment to manifest in your reality. Let's bring this profound understanding into your everyday reality, into the tangible aspects of your life. Perhaps you have meticulously structured your personal growth journey, crafting a perfectly optimized routine designed to accelerate your progress. Perhaps you have timed affirmations, recited with fervent intention, scheduled meditations designed to cultivate inner peace, created elaborate to-do lists of intentions, meticulously tracking your progress towards your goals. Yet, despite all your diligent efforts, there is still a persistent, hollow undercurrent of compulsion behind it all, a subtle sense of unease that undermines your best intentions. Release, that powerful act of surrender, doesn't dissolve your purpose. It doesn't negate your aspirations. It dissolves the underlying belief that you must scramble, that you must strive, that you must prove yourself worthy of receiving the blessings you desire. That is the profound shift, the transformative moment when you move from "I must change this," from a place of striving and control, to "I allow myself to be whole now," from a place of acceptance and surrender. And in that simple act of allowing, in that profound shift in resonance, everything changes. This is not an absolute answer, not a one-size-fits-all solution that guarantees instant results. It is, rather, an invitation, a gentle nudge towards a new way of being. Let your mind, clear and focused, hold your vision, maintaining a steady awareness of your intention. Let your heart, open and receptive, hold the trust, embodying the unwavering conviction that your desire is already manifesting in the quantum field. And then let go of the pressure, release the tension between them, allowing the universe to bridge the gap. Let your inner world become a sanctuary, a place of peace and tranquility, not a battleground where warring factions are constantly vying for control. That sanctuary, that state of inner harmony, becomes the broadcast frequency you send out into the world, the energetic signature that shapes your reality. And remember, the quantum field responds to frequencies, not faces, not efforts, not resumes. It doesn't judge you based on your past accomplishments or your perceived shortcomings. It simply mirrors back the energetic signature you are emitting, the vibration that resonates from the depths of your being. When listened to deeply, when truly embodied, release becomes both the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. It is both the seed, containing the potential for infinite growth, and the harvest, the culmination of all your efforts, manifesting in abundance and fulfillment. You don't need to abandon your dreams, to relinquish your aspirations. You need to reclaim your alignment, to restore the natural harmony that exists between you and the universe. You don't need to speed run your transformation, to force a rapid and dramatic shift in your life. You need to slow down into it, to savor the journey, to appreciate the subtle unfolding of events. You don't need to control the timing of miracles, to dictate when and how they will arrive. You need to welcome their timing, to trust in the inherent wisdom of the universe, by becoming the resonance that matches them, by embodying the vibration of abundance, joy, and gratitude that attracts miracles into your life. A moment arrives, a pivotal point in your journey, when you realize that resistance isn't merely a reaction to unwanted circumstances. It isn't simply an obstacle to be overcome. It is, in fact, the fuel for the very thing you seek to change, the very energy that perpetuates the patterns you are desperately trying to escape. You try so diligently to shape your life, to mold your emotions, to script your identity, to create a perfect version of yourself that is worthy of love and acceptance. Yet, resistance, often disguised as control, perfectionism, or self-criticism, becomes the dominant signal you broadcast into the universe. And the universe, in its unwavering responsiveness, delivers more of the same. More challenges, more setbacks, more evidence to support your underlying belief that you are not enough. This insidious loop, subtle yet pervasive, is where many genuine seekers unknowingly anchor their stagnation, trapping themselves in a cycle of endless striving and dissatisfaction. When you resist a part of your experience, when you judge it as negative or unwanted, you inadvertently give it energy. You amplify its power and perpetuate its presence in your life. The mind of resistance is always vigilant, constantly scanning for what's not aligned, what's incomplete, what's potentially flawed. It is a relentless critic, constantly pointing out your shortcomings and highlighting your failures. That vigilance, like a copper wire, conducts a strong signal into the quantum field, amplifying the waveform of limitation and reinforcing your perception of lack and inadequacy. Scientifically, we could call it observer bias, the tendency to see what we expect to see, to confirm our pre-existing beliefs about ourselves and the world. Spiritual traditions know it as anchoring the undesired pattern into existence, as inadvertently creating the very reality we are trying to avoid. Every time you say, "I must fix this, I must improve myself, I must overcome this obstacle," you are actually shaping your energetic field around the idea that the current you is not enough, that you are somehow flawed or incomplete. As Dr. Joe Dispenza so powerfully states, the more you attempt to control or manipulate outcomes, the more you reinforce the identity of someone who lacks control, someone who is powerless and at the mercy of external forces. That contradiction, even when hidden beneath well-intentioned intentions, even masked by a veneer of spiritual language, confuses the quantum field, creating energetic interference that sabotages your manifestation efforts. Your heart may whisper, "I trust in the universe. I believe in my potential. I am open to receiving abundance." But if your muscle memory, your ingrained patterns of thought and behavior, is still poised in mistrust, if you are still clinging to a fractured sense of identity, the field will respond to the deeper, more powerful signal, the one that is rooted in your subconscious beliefs. The result? Energetic interference, a dissonant vibration that throws your internal orchestra out of tune, preventing you from creating the harmonious reality you desire. The field responds not to the instrument you choose to play, not to the carefully crafted affirmations you recite, but to the discord you play, to the underlying frequency of fear and limitation that permeates your being. This is why so many manifestors, despite their best efforts, fall off the vibration, failing to achieve the results they so desperately seek. They diligently learn the affirmations, mastering the techniques,